All right, let's get right into it. We're about to take a look under the hood at the personality engines that power some of the most captivating, strategic, and, well, ruthless people you could ever meet. Welcome to our explainer on the Dark Triad. And that right there is the whole point, isn't it? The real danger doesn't come with a warning label. Nope, it comes disguised as charisma, as charm, as everything we're naturally drawn to. So whether you see it in an ambitious CEO, a super seductive date, or a powerful politician, you're often looking at different masks covering the exact same shadow. It's this underlying pattern of exploitation that just thrives in boardrooms, on our dating apps, and in the halls of power. So what exactly is this shadow? Well, it's called the Dark Triad. Now, what's really important to get is that this isn't some formal clinical diagnosis you'd find in a textbook. It's a collection of personality traits. And that means you don't just find these traits in criminals. Oh, no. You often find them in highly successful, influential people walking right alongside us. Okay, let's start with the first movement in this, let's call it a dark symphony, the narcissist. Just think of this one as a grand solo performance, a kind of operatic aria that's all about the cult of self. You see, the narcissist is a total paradox. On the outside, what you get is this incredible confidence, this dazzling, almost blinding charm. But it's all just a show. It's a performance designed to feed an addiction. They need your admiration the way an addict needs a drug, because underneath all that swagger is a deeply, deeply fragile ego. And this really gets to their core programming, you know? It's all about getting that external validation 24/7. To a true narcissist, other people aren't really people. You're mirrors. You're just there to reflect back how great they are. And if you dare crack that mirror, if you criticize them even a little bit, watch out. You're probably going to face what's called narcissistic rage, which is this totally over-the-top, aggressive explosion. So what really separates them from the other two? Well, it all boils down to their core motivation. While all three are happy to exploit others, the narcissist at their heart is chasing one thing and one thing only: admiration. Just hang on to that thought as we meet the others. And what's wild is that this isn't just them being vain. Brain scans actually show us that the narcissist's brain is wired differently. The reward network, that's the part of your brain that lights up for pleasure and motivation, is basically structured like an addict's. It creates a real physiological need for praise. It literally is an addiction. Now, on to the second movement. So if the narcissist is the loud performer hogging the spotlight, the Machiavellian, well, they're the quiet strategist in the shadows, pulling all the strings. And this chessboard analogy is just perfect. For someone who's a high Mach, that is, high in Machiavellianism, life isn't about relationships. It's a game of strategy. People are just pawns. You move around, you position them, and sometimes you sacrifice them to win. And morality? That's just a silly rule book that other people follow. And here's what makes them so dangerous and so effective. They're incredibly patient. Unlike the narcissist who needs that praise right now, the Machiavellian is perfectly happy to play the long game. They are cold, they're cynical, and they'll use charm not to feel good about themselves, but as a cold, calculated tool to get what they really want: power and control. You guessed it, their brain is wired for this too. Their default mode network, which is the part of the brain that's active when we're daydreaming and planning for the future, is basically on overdrive. You can think of it like a supercomputer that's constantly running social simulations, calculating every possible move and staying 10 steps ahead of everyone else. And that brings us to our final and honestly most chilling movement in the symphony: the psychopath, the cold, impulsive predator. So if narcissism is the solo performance and Machiavellianism is the complex strategy, then psychopathy is the sudden, jarring bass drop. It's all about impulse, chaos, thrill-seeking. They act without any of the normal brakes that stop the rest of us, things like fear or guilt or any concern for other human beings. The key concept here is what you might call emotional poverty. They just don't process feelings the way most of us do. This complete lack of guilt or anxiety is what lets them be so incredibly callous. They want immediate gratification, they want dominance, and in their world, other people aren't equals. They're either objects or they're prey. And once again, this is rooted deep in their biology. Brain scans show that they have actual structural deficits in key areas. Their prefrontal cortex, the part that's supposed to handle self-control, it's underdeveloped, and their amygdala, the brain's fear center, it's turned way, way down.
This combo creates what scientists call emotional blunting. It's a biological inability to feel fear or any deep emotion.
So there you have it. 3 very distinct profiles: the performer, the strategist, and the predator. But here's the thing. While they look and feel different, they all grow from the exact same dark, malevolent soil. Researchers have actually identified this unifying principle. They call it the D factor, which stands for the dark factor of personality. And it's based on a really simple and pretty chilling idea. It's the tendency to do whatever it takes to get what you want, no matter who gets hurt. And, this is the key, to have a belief system that makes you feel totally justified in doing it. So when we put it all side by side, you can really see the differences, right? The primary need shifts from admiration to control to pure thrill. Look at the time horizon. The Machiavella plans for years, while the psychopath needs it now. And each one has a completely different reaction to being threatened, a different emotional flavor, and, as we saw, a totally unique wiring in the brain. Okay. So understanding all of this is one thing, but what are you supposed to do with this knowledge? Well, this last section is all about putting that theory into practice. Think of it as your personal survival manual. And believe me, this matters, because these traits have huge real-world consequences. In dating, it's that person who sweeps you off your feet only to betray you later. In the workplace, it's the toxic boss who burns out their team for a promotion. And just look at society. Our systems often end up rewarding the exact kind of ruthlessness that lets these personalities climb right to the top. The good news is, you're not helpless. There are defense strategies, or counter melodies as the source material calls them. To handle a narcissist, you use the gray rock method. Basically, you become as boring and unresponsive as a gray rock to starve them of attention. To counter a Machiavellian, use BIFF. Keep all communication brief, informative, friendly, and firm. No wiggle room for them to manipulate. And for a psychopath's cruelty, Socratic dismantling. Just ask simple, rational questions that expose how little sense their actions actually make. But really, if you take away just one thing, let it be this. The single most powerful weapon the Dark Triad has is charisma. It's like a spell they cast on you. Your only real defense is to learn how to see through it, to always remember that a charming mask is not the same thing as a good person. This manipulator's song, this dark symphony, it doesn't have a nice, neat ending. It's not supposed to. It's designed to keep playing on a loop, to keep you off balance. So the only real question left is, now that you know the tune, how are you going to choose to listen?